हमारा मदरसा अल-कुबा उसका कोई और मकसद नहीं है। मैं सिर्फ ये चाहता हूँ कि अहले सुन्नत के कुछ अफराद नौजवान तैयार हो जाएं, हमें बच्चे दें और मौलवी लें।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला सय्यिदिल अंबिया'i वल मुरसलीन अम्मा बअद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या रसूलल्लाह अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या हबीबल्लाह अस्सलातु वस्सलामु अलैका या नबियल्लाह व अला आलिका व अस्हाबिका या नूरल्लाह। Jummah Mubarak to all the viewers. Inshallah, this week's reminder is on the topic of opinions or presumptions. I felt it's important to talk on this topic because we become that group of people, or we live in that time where the majority of our opinions or assumptions are negative, whereas our religion encourages us to have positive opinions and positive presumptions. Now, before moving on to today's topic, I just want to quickly mention a narration regarding sending salawat upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam is reported to have said that the closest to me on the day of judgment will be the one who has recited the most durood upon me in the world. So we should all try and make it a habit to recite as much durood and salawat upon him alayhi salatu wassalam as possible. Now, moving on to today's topic of basically husnul dhan, having a good opinion. It's a topic which is very important because if we look at our lives, the majority of us, we fall into this thing of always having negative opinions or negative assumptions of people. I'll give you a few examples to illustrate the point, and they're quite common examples, to be honest. The first example that I'd put in front of you is if we see someone in the mosque and he's sat on his phone, first thing that would come to most of our minds is, why has he come to the mosque and sat on his phone for? But in reality, we don't know what he's doing on his phone. On his phone, he might be reading the Quran, he might be reading some sort of other Islamic literature. But the first thing that comes to our minds is, when we look at him, is, why is he on his phone for in the mosque? If he's come to the mosque, do something beneficial, why are you on your phone for? And that initial thought, that bad thought of that negative thought, why is he on his phone? That's the topic for today. That why are our thoughts naturally negative? Why are they not positive? And why do we not see people in a positive light? Another example would be where you phone somebody but they don't pick the phone up. Now naturally some people will think, right, he's just seen my name on the phone and he's not picked it up. But think about it, why is that thought come to your head? Why is it not something positive? For example, if you were reading namaz, you would have picked the phone up. If you were reading Quran, you would have picked the phone up. Or even if you're in the toilet, you wouldn't pick the phone up in that situation. There's certain times or certain actions that you're doing where you wouldn't pick the phone up. But when you phone somebody else, the first thought that comes to your mind is, oh, you've seen my name on the phone. It's a negative thought that's come to the mind. Why is that? And that's the topic for today. There are many other examples I can give, but I think those two would illustrate the point that I'm trying to make. That why is it the negative thought or the negative assumption about people the first one that comes to our mind? Where we see our pious predecessors, they would have sayings such as, we look for 70 excuses for a person. When someone does something, we look for 70 excuses for him. We're not looking for excuses, we're looking for reasons to find faults in that person, rather than finding excuses for why a person has done something. Now, I just want to mention a quick story which highlights the importance and the blessings of having good opinions about people. It's mentioned in one of the books that there was a group of robbers basically, and they were going somewhere to rob something, but overnight they wanted to spend the night somewhere, so they stayed in an inn. Now, in that inn, they thought, we can't tell him that we're robbers, so we'll tell him we're mujahids, we fight in the way of Allah. And that's what they did. Now the person in that was the owner of that inn, because of what they said, had held them in high rank, held them in high esteem, so he served them well and fed them well and did everything. And them guys thought, right, we fooled this guy. When in reality he just did everything for them because of the good opinion of he just held a good opinion about them. Now, the owner of that inn, he had a child who was disabled, and then once those robbers had left, who had told him they're mujahids, they'd left some food there. That innkeeper, he'd given the leftovers of those people to his child with the intention that the mujahideen, they'll have blessings with them, and inshallah through their leftovers that child will gain cure. Now, the next day after them robbers had done whatever they wanted to do and came back to that same inn, they thought, we'll say the same thing to that innkeeper and we'll just stay there. And then they came and went in, and they were surprised. That same disabled child that they were seeing, he was now walking freely. He was paralyzed the day before, but now he's walking freely around everywhere. Those robbers, they asked the innkeeper that, what is this, that same child? And he said yes. And they said, how is he cured so quickly? And then that owner, that innkeeper, he said, because you are pious people, the food that you left over, I gave that with the intention that to the child, with the intention that this is the leftovers of pious people, inshallah through that you will be cured. And then that's how he's cured. And then those robbers were like, alright, well, they were just moved to tears, and they was like, let's just tell this guy the truth now. And they told him, we're not mujahideen, we're robbers, we lied to you, but your child got cured because of the good opinion you had. Now, this is not a hadith, it's not anything like that, but it's a story or narration mentioned in the books which highlights the importance and the blessings of good opinions about people. Now, in this, they were robbers, they were doing something wrong. His good opinion of them didn't take anything away from them, or it didn't give them anything in reality. It just gave him the same situation. Now, when you see something and you go and find excuses for people, it will not take anything away from you. Like, you see someone and you're trying to make excuses for him, it's not going to take anything away from you. It's going to increase you, it'll make you better. And in the same way, it will inshallah make that person better as well. And that was just a quick short reminder for this week. Now, inshallah, try to become positive people, try to find excuses for people. When you see people doing something which on the apparent you might not think is good, find excuses for them. I'm not saying be naive, but I'm saying make excuses for them.